So in this video, I want to talk about Rudy's decision to go to the university instead of reigniting Riv, his family, and Riv Paul, and trying to save Zenith, his mother, from the dungeon, and why he made this decision. Because I've seen a lot of people discussing about how Rudy is making the wrong decision, he's clearly in the wrong, and it's all his fault. But I think some people are also forgetting a couple of things. One thing to note that I think some people didn't realize is that Roxy is going to Paul to tell Paul about where Zenith's whereabouts is. So it's not like Rudy can just rush to Paul and then tell Paul, and then Paul will suddenly know, and then he'll have Annalise and Roxy. Paul has also still got to recruit some people, and then build up a team, and then go into the dungeon. So there's that component to it. But in his dream, the man god approaches him and persuades him to make a different decision. Now, you remember, Rudy at that point was very adamant that he was going to go to Paul's side and help Paul to retrieve his mother. At that point in season 1, they had that argument. They had a mutual sort of understanding that they needed to work together to try and bring the family together, and Rudy is very determined to follow through on that. He wants to fulfill that promise that he gave his father, that he would bring the family together, and Rudy feels responsible, as does Paul. But Paul is also the father, so the father feels like it's more upon his shoulder to make sure that he brings the family together, because it is his family that he needs to protect. So he feels like he is the one that's most responsible, that has everything on his shoulders, while Rudy is just his son that shouldn't have to feel all that weight on his shoulder. But the man god persuades him in his sleep to go to the university and uses a lot of manipulation tactics. And this is something I was really happy to have this discussion with a particular individual, a psychologist, as I refer to as Ed, which is kind of funny with Rudy's issues. But he mentioned, and I was very happy about this, mentioned about the man god's manipulation tactics, and as he refers to him as the man child, which I think is a hilarious name to give the man god. And it points out that what the man god is doing is trying to belittle Rudy, trying to get under his skin and use his weakness and his insecurity to persuade him to making a specific decision. And if you cannot see that in that episode, then I'd be asking the question of, what are you watching? Because you can see the way and the tone that he's putting it across. He specifically pokes at his love and respect towards Roxy and uses Roxy as a weapon. Oh, well, how would Roxy feel if she saw you with this issue in your pants? Or, oh, would she not be disappointed in the fact that you aren't furthering your skills with magic? Like, he uses his love and respect towards Roxy, he's almost worshipping, as a weapon against Rudy to get a weakness of being like, hey, you should make this decision because it would make Roxy more proud of you. And also using other manipulation tactics as well, is like, oh, well, things just won't go well. And then when Rudy asks for clarification, he then just goes, oh, I can't tell you. And it's like, this is the question you should be asking yourself, is why can't he tell Rudy what would happen? I mean, the man god has done that before, where he's said to Rudy, hey, make this decision, and then explains after Rudy's made a different decision, this is what would have happened. The man god is fully capable of explaining different pathways that Rudy can make and what would happen if he makes those decisions. So what is the man god trying to get at? Why is he trying to persuade Rudy so much to go down that specific route? What is the man god's objective? And again, I'm not here to spoil the story. I've read the light novels, but I'm not going to tell you the answer to these questions. I'm simply asking the question and allowing you, the individual, the anime only fan, to think to yourself about that. So again, I do not want spoilers in the comment section, people going, oh, well, actually, I know what the answer is. I'm sure many of you light novel fans know what the answer is, but we don't need to put those answers in the comment section and spoil the fun for others. Allow anime onlys to have that fun experience of discovering what is going on in the story and why certain characters are behaving in a certain way. But that is the thing I'm trying to ask to these people, is why is the man god trying to manipulate Rudy? You can see the tone in that dream, the belittling, the patronizing, the way he shakes himself. And I really love the way the anime did that, because it really shows how the man god is trying to sort of make himself all omnipotent and puts his hands in the air and sort of glows away and repeats himself as he slowly floats into the distance trying to persuade Rudy, you can fix your ED, you can fix those problems, as he slowly fades into the distance while Rudy's screaming, asking for more further answers and clarification. The man god just floats away with none of those answers, trying to egg Rudy's behavior in a certain direction. And this is something that the man god has done throughout the journey of Rudy. Of course, it has been beneficial to Rudy in some degrees, but then you've also got to ask the question, what did Rudy lose in the process of making that decision? Yes, you can look at all the things that Rudy gained in making those decisions following the man god, but what if Rudy made other decisions and moved in other directions? I mean, a case example would have been when Rudy first met the man god and the man god said, hey, befriend Rigid. But to me, I would have felt like Rudy would have automatically tried to befriend Rigid regardless. Yes, Rudy has that knowledge about the serpent and, oh, they're scary, but I also think Rudy would have been smart enough and had a little bit more, some juggaluggers down below, as so to say, to maybe try and be friends with Rigid without the man god's persuasion in pushing him in that direction. And maybe the man god just did that because he knew Rudy was going to do it regardless and just thought, oh, I'll just say that and just get a bonus point for making it look good. That's something you've got to ask yourself, the question of, what is the man god getting out of this? Why is he steering Rudy in this certain direction? And what would have Rudy gained if he went in other directions? What if Rudy decided to go against the man god's wishes? How would the man god respond to that? And if you can tell from this recent conversation, the man god doesn't really like Rudy thinking for himself and going, well, no, I want to do this. The man god's very quickly to try and bring Rudy down a peg or two and say, no, you should do this because I know what's best. This is the right decision, or else things are going to go wrong. I'm not going to tell you what's going to go wrong, but things are going to go wrong. And then Rudy has to sit there and think to himself, do I do this? And then he'll think to himself, well, clearly the man god has helped me in some situations. And then also thinking about his insecurities, because right now Rudy is in a dark and sad place. He's in a much lower place. He wants to find a cure to his ED. So what is the natural decision he's going to do now, faced with this information of, hey, go look up the displacement issue. Go to the academy. You'll get your ED fixed. Go check these things out. If you do the other decision, things will go wrong. Automatically, Rudy's going to feel that maybe I should go this decision. What's to say if Rudy didn't reignite with Paul that he couldn't have found another way to fix his ED? Why is it only the university that's going to fix it? What if there are other ways to fix his ED problem? I'm pretty sure there would be other ways. And that's the question you've got to ask yourself. What if Rudy defied the man god at this point in time? So again, love to know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you do want to see actual spoiler content, check out my light novel reviews and analysis videos for more in-depth breakdowns on the story itself. Again, a reminder that please don't spoil the story for others in the comment section. This is simply a discussion about the anime and breaking it down and analyzing it for anime only fans. So again, please don't spoil the story for others. And again, if you like this video, hit the like, subscribe, and I will see you, beautiful nerds, in the next video.